a paixão pelas armas continua. Tanto é que eu sempre digo, né? Se eu chegar lá, você, cidadão de bem, no primeiro momento vai ter isso aqui em casa. Você, produtor rural, o que depender de mim, vai ter isso aqui também. Cartão de visita para invasor tem que ser cartão de 362.
The Founding Fathers didn't call it the right to keep and bear arms the way it's written. They called it the biblical right of self-defense. So the ultimate goal of the Second Amendment is to make sure you can defend yourself against any kind of illegal force that comes against you, whether that's from a neighbor, whether that's from an outsider, or whether that's from your own government.
Something that gives the most common man the most uncommon of freedoms. When ordinary hands can possess such an extraordinary instrument, that symbolizes the full measure of human dignity and liberty.
If you are for gun control, then you are not against guns, because the guns will be needed to disarm the people. So it's not that you are anti-gun, you'll need the police's guns to take away other people's guns. So you are very pro-gun. You just believe that only the government, which is of course so reliable, honest, moral and virtuous, should be allowed to have guns. There is no such thing as gun control. There is only centralizing gun ownership in the hands of a small political elite and their minions.
Anybody that wants to disarm me can drop dead. Anybody that wants to make me unarmed and helpless, people that want to literally create the proven places where more innocents are killed, called gun-free zones, we're going to beat you. We're going to vote you out of office or suck on my machine gun.
You write this down. 80 people a day die in America from gunshots.
And 75 of them to 78 of them, statistics by the Uniform Crime Report by the FBI and the UN Study on Violent Crime, 78 of those 80 are let out of their cages by corrupt judges and prosecutors who know that recidivism is out of control, know that they'll commit the crimes again, and they let them walk through plea bargaining, early release, and program.
They still
Kiss
can't...
my ass.
Yeah.
Where you have the most armed citizens in America, you have the lowest violent crime rate. Where you have the worst gun control, you have the highest crime rate. Peers, choose one. Do you want a lot of crime? We have it. Gun-free zones. Do you want less crime? We have that. More people with concealed weapons permit. Why do you guys resist that statistic?
Well, don't say you guys.
It's you guys.
No.
Well, unless you're playing the devil's advocate.
I can play any advocate I like.
You're
it's
doing
my
a fine
show.
job.
Right.
You're playing the idiot's advocate here.
That's not the idiot's
More
advocate.
guns equals less crime. Period.
And the murder rate in Plano, Texas is lower than Belgium. It's lower than it is in every European Western society. Lower, significantly lower. It's a third of Belgium's. What does that tell you? It basically destroys the entire theory on its face. The place that has the most guns in America per capita has the lowest murder rate per capita, and it is lower than it is in these European socialist paradises. So how do you explain that?
Well, and even just looking at the time frame over the United States, you're looking from 1994 to 2011, the number of guns, went up from, 170 million to over 300 million, and the homicide rate went down. From 9 per 100,000 to a little under 5. So guns went up significantly, a quarter, a third or so, and the homicide rate went down close to 50%. And it seems to me, this is a bit out there, but this is sort of the logic that I think you could make a case for, that the people who most want guns to be banned are criminals. Because if you want guns to be banned and you can still have them, it means that you can stride through your criminal element. You can prey upon people you know are legally disarmed. It lowers your risks. It lowers the capacity for retaliation. You get to be the cock of the walk, armed to the teeth, because you're already outside the law, so what do you care? It seems to me that the driving force behind the disarmament and also behind the practical disarmament of the police through the Ferguson effect, right? I mean, where the police end up intervening less in and policing less in difficult communities, which results in higher crime rates. We've seen a reintroduction of higher homicide rates and crime rates and so on as the Ferguson effect has taken hold. Who on earth, other than criminals, benefits from the elimination of guns among the lawful?
These maximum security felons said they fear an armed victim much more than the police.
When you go to rob somebody you don't know, it makes it harder.
And they said gun laws don't matter to them. They don't obey them.
I'm not worried about the government saying that I can't carry a gun. I'm going to carry a gun anyway.
Well, that's precisely right. If you have any kind of a gun control law passed, up to and including, turning them in, the only people that are going to do that are the people who follow the law.
Give us your fucking jewelry and your Netflix password.
I would love to comply, but in the state of California, all of those firearms are illegal.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I did not mean to bring an illegal firearm into your
Another
home.
ridiculous thing, because it all comes down from all these dragnet shows we watch, right? I mean, people still think, many people on the left, many people in general still think that the police prevent crimes. They don't prevent crime. They investigate crimes. The police will arrive in time to draw a chalk outline around your dead body and try and figure out who did it. But they're not going to burst in, kick down the door, and shoot the gun out of a hand of a guy who's about to, assassinate you in your house at 4 o'clock in the morning. It just doesn't work.
I don't know why you guys either don't study the information or you just resist it. I think you're resisting it. In America, where you have more citizens with guns on their person, you have a dramatic reduction in violent crime. In those areas called gun-free zones, you have an outrageous increase in the loss of innocent lives. That's the choice. Which one would you make? And in America, legally owned guns are used millions of times a year to save innocent lives. You certainly don't believe in calling 911 to stop evil in your home, do you? You don't believe that being unarmed and helpless is a desirable condition? You think unarmed and helpless is something you can control over me? That's weird.
Well, you're putting...
You want to tell us what kind of gun we should have, how much ammunition is enough, whether we should even have guns at all. Here's our collective answer. It's not only no, it's hell no. And we don't need your permission or your sanctimonious condescension as to the reason one should or shouldn't have a gun. I own guns because it's my right. It's my Second Amendment right. No one in Washington gave me that right. It's a natural right confirmed by the very people who founded this nation.
If you are forced into unarmed helplessness, you are unarmed and helpless. What a horrible, irresponsible, suicidal condition that in.
And the government knows the population is unarmed. They know that they are defenseless. They must rely on the police to protect them. They have no alternative. And sadly, the more power the government gets, the less interested they seem to be in protecting you. The 78-year-old man from England, for example, he called the police. He did everything he was supposed to do. They didn't get there in time. He had to fight off the attacker with a screwdriver, and the police showed up and arrested him. So if some thug tries to kill you, you can't even be assured that if you kill him in self-defense, the government won't prosecute you for it. This is what happens when government takes your guns, because ultimately what they're taking is your right to defend yourself. And when the government is no longer interested in protecting you, but at the same time, they won't allow you to protect yourself, you're just living under tyranny at that point.
Meu marido veio junto com a polícia no carro dele para garantir que o BO seria feito e que os meliantes iam ser presos. Só que os meliantes foram soltos, o meu marido tá preso ainda. Ele foi cuidar da integridade da família dele. Agora o meu marido tá ali preso, algemado pelas mãos e pelas pernas, como se fosse um ladrão. E o ladrão tava solto, que entrou pela terceira vez na minha casa só hoje, gente. Pelo amor de Deus, cadê a justiça? Eu quero justiça, eu quero meu marido solto, pelo amor de Deus. Que é isso?
Nós precisamos de um debate para saber se isso deve continuar, se esta forma deve continuar sendo a forma de ação, ou se ela deve mudar. E para mudar, nós temos que desarmar uma das partes. Não podemos desarmar os criminosos, que nós desarmemos os militares. Não podemos desarmar os criminosos, que nós desarmemos os militares. Não podemos desarmar os criminosos, que nós desarmemos os militares.
Eu vou ter que pedir a paciência. Esses canalhas, ok? Tentam, com esse tipo de política, aumentar o número de mortes de inocentes em nosso país. E nós queremos diminuir o número de mortes de inocentes e, se for o caso, aumentar o número de mortes de bandidos.
The real intent of the left and the Democrat and the anti-gun crowd is not for reduced violence and reducing amounts of mass shootings. It's a slippery slope toward gun confiscation. They don't want gun control, they want gun confiscation, and they know they have to do it in a stair-step fashion. So they come through with this.
You know, guns represent independence. It is connected to a mental state of being. You don't need the police to protect you in every situation. Not that you're anti-police, but if need be, you can protect yourself. There's nothing that the authoritarians hate more than people that are independent. The more independent and self-sufficient you are, the more they hate you.
So, as we set out this year to defeat the divisive forces that would take freedom away, I want to say those fighting words for everyone within the sound of my voice to hear and to heed, and especially for you, Mr. Gore. From my cold, dead hands.
Nós estamos aí perseverando. Eu acredito que o povo, a mobilização da população, pode reverter isso. Fosse votado agora, nós iríamos perder o decreto das armas. A maioria hoje quer derrubar o decreto. Até terça-feira depende de cada um de vocês. Um abraço a todos.